Well, hello, Tube. Today we have the Bhagavad Gita in English, the authentic English translation for accurate and unbiased understanding. This is a newer translation that I stumbled upon. I wanted to check it out. Sorry for the glare. I have it on. I have the ebook. What can I say? I'm gonna put this down because this is really uncomfortable to hold up like that. As always, I have an affiliate link down below to bookshop.org, or if you use it to buy not this book, 'cause apparently this book isn't available on bookshop.org, but if you use it to buy a different book, I get a small commission. You get an awesome book at no extra cost to yourself. I will put a link to Hari Chetan's website that takes you to where you can buy this book for various ebook devices and or physical form. So you can choose where and what to do there. Hari himself, this is coming from his website. So it says, I'm a conscious coach and the author of books on the subject of Vedic wisdom like Bhagavad Gita in English, 30 Days Understanding the Bhagavad Gita, and the Bhagavad Gita Summarized and Simplified. The 30 Days to Understanding, I read that. That'll be a upcoming video in the future, probably way down the line because I'm so far behind on my videos and it ain't even funny. But I will talk about that in the future. I also have, I think I have all of his ebooks now. I think I picked them all up. I have several other books and coaching programs in the pipeline. I'm a deeply spiritual person who is on a mission to gather and distribute all the knowledge about the self and God. I am well on my way in that journey. Along the way, I have studied all the major religions, beliefs, and philosophies and plan to share the best of my learnings through my books and programs. So he's got like a whole bunch of programs you can sign up for too, I think. I think it might actually be free. Don't quote me on that though. The actual blurb about the book, also coming from his website, um, simply reading this book and comprehending the life changing, ageless, and profound wisdom contained in the 701 magnificent verses is enough to change the path of one's life and bring it to the peak of perfection. That is why, after hearing this transcendental discourse of Lord Krishna, Arjuna claims to him, "O Achyuta, the changeless one." These words and I do my best. Do my best. My delusion is destroyed, and my memory about one's true identity has been regained by me through your grace. I am firmly situated. My doubts are gone. I will now act according to your word. Bhagavad Gita 1873, chapter 18, verse 73. I honestly don't know how to read those little things. Bhagavad Gita is not a religious book. I agree, and it is not intended to be read and acted upon by adherents of a particular religion. Um, I mean, it is a religious book. Don't get anybody wrong. However, anybody can read it. Anybody can read it and enjoy it. Anybody can read it and get some sort of knowledge and wisdom from it. You don't have to be a Hindu born in India. I'm a white boy, old white man born in Illinois, and I've read this book I don't know how many times now, and I absolutely love it. And I read a chapter every night, and it's wonderful. Absolutely love it. Every read's like a new read, so part of it's just because it's not the easy. I mean, you just there's just so much in it. The other part of it is just that, again, I'm horrible at remembering names and words and things, so it's almost like a new time every time. Um, let's see here. It is a guidebook for life. A how-to manual is an. It is a medicine for the infected soul of the Kali Yuga. That's the age that we're living in. Kali Yuga is like, I don't remember, 300,000 years or 33,000 years. It's a long time. It's a long, long time. The Dark Age. I mean, just look at what's going on in the world. What's going on in Ukraine and Israel, and even in your own backyard. We're in the Kali Yuga. And there is no religion in medicine. The Bhagavad Gita is the most sacred conversation ever between Lord Krishna and his friend Prince Arjuna, and just before the beginning of the Great War of the Mahabharata. And eventually, I'll get around to talking about the Mahabharata, which I am also reading chapter by chapter. It's a very long book. The one that I'm reading is a 2,000 page abridgment. So it's going to take a minute before I get done with the first part of it. But I do have the Penguin unabridged set now. That'll be way down the line. Way down the line. Mahabharata, by the way, again, it's awesome. Like again, you don't have to be a Hindu born in India to read and appreciate the Mahabharata. Honestly, I think a lot of people who are really big into fantasy and science fiction would actually love the Mahabharata. The dog is over there breathing very heavily. I'm not sure if that's coming across or not. On the holy battlefield of Kurukshetra, hard word, where the Lord enlightens a bewildered Arjuna about the biggest truths of the universe. The dialogue is considered to contain the nectar of all Vedic scriptures, the most ancient scriptures of the world. By reading the Bhagavad Gita, you will discover answers to the most important questions in life, such as who am I? What is your purpose in life, and how to fulfill your purpose? Is there a God? Is there God one or many? He lists off a whole bunch of different things. Chetan's translation of the Bhagavad Gita is the outcome of his 2 decades of experience in the field of Vedic philosophy. The following are some of the distinguishing aspects of his English translation. All verses are accurately translated from the original Sanskrit text. I can't say whether that's true or not. I don't know. I can't read Sanskrit. I'm going by his word on it. It seems like it's in line with all the other translations. The translations are presented in their authentic form, free from any sectarian bias. Actually, when I was reading this, I was really thinking he was ISKCON leaning. Could be wrong. It just could be my own biases of reading it. Maybe he has nothing to do with ISKCON. Maybe he is a member of ISKCON. I don't know. The translations are kept simple without sacrificing, and I don't mean that in a bad way either. Like I have no problem with ISKCON, and I have a Srimad Bhagavatam set in there, and I have the Chaitanya books in there. I got a lot of ISKCON literature in there, so I'm not saying that's like a bad thing or anything. Just that they have their own kind of spin on things. The translations are kept simple without sacrificing accuracy, essence, and spirit. The gaps arising while translating verses from Sanskrit to English have been taken care of to preserve. I almost said perverse. To preserve the intended meaning of each verse. Context has been given due to importance while establishing the meaning of each word with the aim of providing correct interpretation. Does a pretty good job there. To facilitate self-explanatory, reading hard, translations, additional explanations are given in parentheses in the verses. Additional explanations are provided in the form of notes at appropriate places. The historical background of the Mahabharata is included for perfect understanding. To help you test your understanding, a printable workbook, I didn't pay attention to that, is included. I should have printed off the printable workbook. So yeah, now this is, of course, the Bhagavad Gita is a many thousand-year-old piece of literature, and the whole point of me doing these Bhagavad Gita videos was I was wanting to compare and contrast translations. So I did so far done Sir Edwin Arnold, the 19th translation, the really old one with the D's and thous and thighs. I did Bhagavad Gita according to Gandhi. This is, of course, not as old as either one of these two, and I believe that Hari Chetan probably would like to be paid for his work. So I'm not going to read all of chapter 10 that I've been using to to compare the translations. I'm just going to read a small section of it that way. You can still see the differences, and I hopefully am not committing any wrongdoing on the front um, of copyright. So I'm just going to read the first like purport or yeah, and then just a handful of verses. So is this what we're at here? All right. So, commentary. In the preceding chapters, Lord Krishna touched upon some of the aspects of his divine nature. However, for our benefit, in the chapter, the Lord himself explains some of the most prominent manifestations of his endless character. This knowledge is blissful for anybody who wants to know God, although there is no limit to the divine attributes and manifestations of the Lord, and our tiny minds are capable of comprehending even one in a millionth part of his nature. The Lord still gives a broad enough description of his character so that a true seeker can give a hint of how great he might actually be. Let's dive into the divine wisdom about God. So, Lord Krishna to Arjuna. And we're starting off with the hard one. O Mahabaho, listen again to my supreme words, which I, which I, wishing your welfare, will speak to you who delights in hearing me. Neither the hosts of the demigods nor the great sages know my origin. Parentheses. As being beyond the limitations of time and space, Krishna has no origin. In parentheses. For in every way I am the origin of the demigods and the great sages. He who knows me as the unborn and the beginningless, and also as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he among the mortals is non deluded and is liberated from all sins. Intelligence, knowledge, non delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control the senses, control the mind, happiness, sorrow, birth, death, fear, and also fearlessness, non injury to the innocent, equanimity, contentment, austerity, charity, fame, infamy, and all these various attributes of being arise from me alone. Let's skip down to a couple of verses I found rather interesting. So this is going to be verse 8 through 11. That's all I'm going to read because I don't want to. Like I said, I want you to get a flavor of this without reading the whole chapter and possibly running into problems. I don't know. Well, anyway, I am the source of all parentheses spiritual and material, living and non-living, tangible and intangible, end parentheses. From me everything evolves, thus realizing the wise engage in worshiping me with loving devotion, with minds fixed on me, with lives devoted to me, enlightening one another by always conversing about me. They derive contentment and bliss. To those who are ever engaged in worshiping me with love, I grant that intelligence by which they reach me. Out of sheer compassion for them, dwelling in the hearts, destroy the darkness born of ignorance, and by radiant lamp of knowledge. So as you can see, it's a lot more updated than the previous two that we looked at, the Gandhi and the Sir Edwin Arnold. This I really enjoyed this translation. I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite because I really like the Oxford. I really like the Norton Critical. Um, but it's up there. I think it's for a beginner that has never read it and is intimidated by the by, by the Gita. It's late. My I'm lucky I got this far. Let's face it. Let's face it. Anyone who has not read the Gita and is kind of intimidated by it, this would be an excellent translation. And I believe the ebook I think it was only like here I can look it up real quick here. Um, through Audible, it was not very expensive. Let's see here. I should have done this maybe before. Um, Bhagavad Gita in English. $4.99, $5. $5, you get a awesome translation of the Bhagavad Gita with a whole bunch of commentary. And it's not boring commentary either. It's good, relevant commentary that will help you understand what is going on. You can't get much better than that. You really can't. I mean, you're not going to find. Well, I think the I think the was it the Norton that I downloaded? I mean, it was a normal price. Let's see here. We'll just say I think it was the Norton. Very. Yes, I downloaded the Norton. Well, that's not going to tell me. Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. The Gita. We'll say Norton. We'll see what the price is real quick. $12. So 2.5 times the price for the Norton. I gotta say, I like this one. I don't know if Norton, just because the Norton has a special place in my heart, because it was one of the first translations where I was like, oh, I get it. If it's not better, it's right there. It really is. The Nortons always come with a lot of extra goodies and stuff, but this one comes with a lot of extra goodies too, and it's $4.99. So what can I say? I think that's it for this One Piece. Let me know down below. Have you read this translation? What do you think about this translation, Mr. Chetan? If you ever stumble upon this, great job. Apologize for butchering your name 15 times in it. Hope you're okay with me reading what I read in it. I'm trying to help you sell some books here, man. Try and do that. I think this is an excellent addition. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to read this one a whole lot more. Like I said, I have his other books too. I've already read the 30 Days to the Bhagavad Gita, whatever that book is. Spoiler alert for a future video, probably a couple months down the line. Excellent book as well. I want to get to his other one sooner rather than later. But, there's only so much time in the day. So, cheers, peeps.